This has consistently been Lightroom's Achilles heel for years. See, there's quite a few finishing steps I apply to all of my photos, and a big part of this process for me is cleanup. There's almost always something that I remove from every one of my photos, and these generally consist of things like, I guess, random sticks or rocks or bits of ice or just other things along the edges that I might have missed while I was on location. I'm a bit OCD in that respect, as I really enjoy the edges of my photographs to be as clean and distraction-free as possible. So it goes without saying that I place high value in having a tool that can consistently help me achieve this. And Lightroom's new and just released tool helps me do this better than ever. Now, is it perfect? Absolutely nope. But it is the best that it has ever been. So this is a photograph from my recent fall workshops in Colorado. If we come up here and let's just say that we want to remove this cloud, not that I would ever want to remove this cloud. I absolutely love clouds. It's one of the things that I was kind of struggling with when I captured this photograph is it was mostly a clear day, but there was some clouds that moved in here. But for just demonstration purposes, this would be a very difficult thing to remove because the cloud is behind this tree right here and all of these leaves, and it's also behind the mountain right here as well. So you would probably agree that this is not the easiest thing in the world to remove. So if I come up here to the eraser tool right here, the new thing here is that it has this detect objects feature, which is really, really nice. But I believe that there was also additional work that was kind of done under the hood because after a lot of experimenting, the results are much better now than they previously were. So I think the detect object feature is new, it obviously is new, but I also think that there's some other wizardry that is going on behind the scenes that has made this even better. And I'll show you what I mean right here. So if I come over here, this is the clone tool. So previously for years, all you had was clone and heal. These were the two options. So if I just select clone, put the feather at 100, and let's just draw an area right around here. This is kind of the way that we were the only option we had for years within Lightroom. And as you can see, we'll let it think for a second. You can see that it did a pretty poor job. And this is kind of what we've been used to with Lightroom for years. And then we also have another option here. We had clone, and then we also had heal. So let's let heal do its thing. And once again, we have found a way to make this look even worse. So this is kind of what we were used to for years within Lightroom. And then we were given the remove tool. Now the remove tool is substantially better than clone and heal. And as you can see, it did a much, much better job. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. You can see a lot of different issues here. Let's hit refresh and give Lightroom another stab at it here. And once again, it's actually even worse. Let's give it a third time. Now we have a mountain on top of the tree. So as you can see, the available options within Lightroom for years have always been, in my opinion, absolutely atrocious, absolutely unusable. It's one of the reasons why I've always had to finish all of my photographs inside of Photoshop is because the remove tool, features, erase features were practically non-existent inside of Lightroom. Now here is the other option. We have Generative Remove. Now Generative Remove is much, much better. This is actually, Generative Remove was in the big update, I believe, last year as well. It was much better, but I feel like it is substantially better now. And as you can see, look how much better of a job this did. And as I toggle this on and off, you can see, not only did it, of course, remove the majority of the cloud, but look at what it did to the area around it. Yeah, it did change the mountain a little bit here. It did change the leaves on the branches of this tree a little bit, but it still looks extremely realistic. Now, this isn't the new feature yet, but I just wanted to show this. Let me go ahead and let's do another variation of this just so you can see. But every one of these variations is very, very usable. This one didn't quite do exactly what we wanted it to do because we were trying to remove the cloud. But as you can see, it is much, much better. Now let me go ahead and just delete that right there. Now, if we hit visualize spots, this is one of the things that I do on all of my finishing touches. I think we all have finishing touches we go through when we export our photographs, but I'm always looking for sensor spots, and there's a big one right here. So if I come up here to the remove tool, and we'll leave detect object selection, although this is not going to really use or need to use that feature. And I'm just going to go ahead and hit remove. And this is a pretty easy thing to remove here. And as you can see in just a moment, it will have done it absolutely perfectly. Let me go ahead and just turn off visualize spots here. And as you can see, it is completely gone. So now if we want to use the detect objects feature here, so what we can do is just outline this. We don't really have to fill it all in, just kind of outline it. Lightroom will go ahead and create a mask or an identifier area, if you will, that's a weird way to say that, of what it feels is the object that you are trying to remove. So you don't have to try and fill in the entire thing. You can just kind of circle it, and Lightroom will generally do a pretty good job. And then we can go ahead and hit remove. You can see removing area using AI. Usually takes a couple seconds, obviously just depending on the speed of your computer here. And there we go right there. You also have these different variations you can go through. So this is 2 of 3. This right here is 3 of 3. All of them are pretty good. Let me hit the trash can tool. I want to show you one more thing here. If we have we select eraser again, and let's just go ahead and draw a area around the cloud. We'll let Lightroom go ahead and automatically detect the object. But if there is too big of an area, that if it did not do a good job detecting what you wanted it to detect, you can always hit subtract here, and you can kind of paint away certain areas here, or if you feel that Lightroom didn't select a big enough area, you can hit add as well, and you can kind of fill in any area that you want to right through there. So that is the new feature inside of the remove tool, is that detect object. I do find some value in that. I got another pretty cool example right here. Let me go up here to library. This is the same scene, just of a different angle here. So let's say we want to remove this entire area right through here. Let's go to the erase tool. This would be a pretty difficult thing to remove right here. Actually, hold on a second. Let me just close this down and move this over. Let's say we want to remove this entire area. And I think you'd agree this is not a very obvious object, but we're gonna leave it on detect objects. We're gonna leave it on use generative AI. And let's just go ahead and kind of paint around this entire area. Once again, we don't have to fill it in because we're using the detect object feature. And as you can see, Lightroom went ahead and filled in this area for us. We can always refine it by hitting subtract or add, but I think it looks pretty good right now. And let's just hit remove and let Lightroom do its thing to try and identify what we feel like we want this to look like. And that did a pretty good job. Let's go ahead and go through some of these variations right here. All of these variations look pretty good. Oh, I think that one actually looks the best. Let me come up here to close. And if we zoom all the way out, you would never even know that that was there. I can toggle that on and off there. This is the way it used to look. It's the way it looks now, before and after. I think that did a very, very good job. Let's do something even more difficult here. Let's try and remove this entire area. So we'll leave detect objects on once again, kind of go through this area all through here. Once again, we don't have to fill it in. It will automatically do it for us. And let's hit remove right here and see how it does. Generally speaking, whenever you're removing anything, whether it's Lightroom or Photoshop or any photo editing platform, if there is a large area you want to remove, you generally don't want to try and remove all of it in one big sweep. You usually want to try and do it in smaller increments. It always works better as opposed to like one massive area. This, in my opinion, is a larger area. You probably would want to divvy this up into 2 or 3 sections, but trying to push this is push the capabilities as far as possible just to see what it really can do. And here is the result right here. Looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and go through some of these variations. This is the second one here. This is the third one. I think that one looks pretty good, although it looks a little weird on this one little branch there. Let me kind of go back here. But what's really neat is if you pay attention to these branches here that are not part of the mask, if you pay attention to how they're leading into the scene that is being removed, look how good it lines up here. See that? That is pretty good. That is pretty impressive. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to use this example here, because Lightroom is using these branches in here to basically help create this area here, and it lines it up pretty spot on, and that's very, very impressive. Let me zoom all the way out, and we'll toggle that on and off so you can see that. So this is before and after. Before and after. So we're basically able to remove all of those kind of areas, those 2 areas right there. And it looks pretty realistic. Now, generally, this is not the use case that I go through when removing things. I generally don't try and remove massive things from the center portion of my frame. It's usually logs or sticks or rocks or just random things that are sticking in the edges of my frame that I just missed when I was on location. And these are generally very small things. And these, what we kind of did in this video, these are pretty difficult things to remove. These are large areas to remove. So if it can do these pretty good, I have to believe that it does the smallest little things on the edges that are very inconspicuous to the naked eye. I feel like it would do a phenomenal job in doing that. So in summary, is it perfect? Absolutely not. Is it as good as Photoshop? Absolutely not, but it is getting closer. And I think that it has made the biggest leap in progression in this latest update. Does it have, further to go? Absolutely. I think even Photoshop has further to go. This is kind of something that I don't think can really be perfected. Maybe it can be one day, but every update, these remove tools or these eraser tools get better and better. And I think Lightroom did a pretty good job in this one right here. So if you have any questions about the new detect object feature inside of the erase tool or inside of the remove tool inside of Lightroom, please leave me a comment below and I will get back in touch with you as soon as humanly possible. And if you did enjoy this week's video, if you could, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. And as always, I really do appreciate you carving out a little bit of time to spend it with me here today. And I will see you all next Wednesday. Bye.